Hi, and welcome to another episode of Kuntarkis. My name is Michael Yon, and this is Feeling Your Heart. This episode starts with us mucking around talking about feeling sick with a cold, having gotten out of hospital.
Yeah, because everybody goes into hospital, mate. They come out sick. You know that? That's dead serious.
Yeah,
Because they breathe the same air that every other donkey's breathing, and they end up with sickness.
there's just donkeys
Wow.
everywhere.
Yeah, there's donkeys everywhere, mate. Yeah, and they don't think very openly either. I'm I, I'm just amazed by. I really am amazed by people's attitude. How it's changed in the last. Well, I'm not sure to say 20 years or 30 years. But in the last 5 years, probably between 10 and 5 years, people's understanding and their emotions have tripled to what they used to be. They don't seem to comprehend. They seem to look at you and stare at you in the most strangest way, and then they just sort of walk off and avoid you. It's like there's something else controlling them. That's the really strange part. Very
Wow.
strange.
It makes me think like their assumptions and expectations are just kind of somehow on autopilot as well. They just keep going without actually having some conscious thought.
Yes, yes. It's like they don't have the ability to think as an individual or consciously. I mean, I was reading something about this nanotechnology that's been going for about 30 years, and the U.S. Army are the biggest investors, and they now are producing nanotechnology far smaller than micro. Like that's nanotechnology, and apparently, a lot of doctors around the world are so ignorant to the fact that they don't believe nanotechnology actually exists. Now, that's weird, Michael. That really is weird that the public are aware, and yet doctors in prominent positions who are supposed to be looking after patients are not even aware of it or don't want to be aware. Now, you've got to say to yourself, why? What's going on there?
Well, that's a lot of ignorance as well. Wouldn't we say that practically every person in the world now has nanotechnology just flying around their insides?
People who are vaxxed, oh, incredibly. People who are unvaxxed, who hang around a lot of vaxxed people, yes, but nowhere near the same as those people who are vaxxed. But people who don't hang around a lot of vaxxed people, they have it, yes, absolutely, but it has no ability to control you. I can say that 100%. It cannot control you because the two factors is the first is you aren't inundated with it. The second is you don't have maybe a 5G phone. The 5G phone is going to be the biggest bioweapon of murder on this planet. Mark those words because it's going to happen. It's not far away.
And it's the combination, isn't it? Every person with a 5G phone and all the AI that's flying around their body is going to
Yes,
combine in a way that it could be as deadly as whoever wants it to be.
absolutely. 100%. That's the whole purpose is to turn you into bio, synthetic biology, basically. And they will. In time to come, if nothing's done, they will control you. Absolutely. 100%. I mean, they're now looking, what Anna Marie was even saying. She said, don't be fooled that you think that the bioweapon is only in the original COVID-19 vaccines. She said, all the pet vaccines are fully loaded with the same deadly bioweapon material. All the things that go into women's spines when they're having a baby, like uh, epidural and all that. It's all fully loaded with the same type of bioweapons. All the children's vaxes are containing bioweapon material, nanotechnology. So you've got to ask yourself, what the hell is happening that is allowing all this to take place? Who's controlling it? It really needs to be asked. It is far greater than, say, just the CBCs. It's got to be greater. It's got to be massive alien intervention to begin with. And they have literally, through satanic worshipping, in that form of their religion, have indoctrinated several 100 million. In fact, it's probably more like 1.5 to 2 billion people worldwide because of the amount of elite criminals and the terrorists, the mass murderers, all that type of thing. All the actors, probably say 70% of the acting world, especially in Hollywood and America, they've all been seduced through initiation into that type of satanic worshipping. So it's pretty deep, mate.
It is deep, and we haven't actually put it up yet on the podcast in any way, how, it was even... Do you want to mention when they came, this latest and most terrible group of aliens came, even though the plan was for quite a long time?
Well, let me put it this way. I know for a fact an alien race came here 452 years ago, right? And they were the beginning of indoctrination and, how would you say, preparing themselves to formulate into human bodies through manipulation of genetics. And that's worked. But at the same time, there are aliens who have now come back from previous visits, and they really want the Earth. They want the resources. Earth is one of the biggest places in the universe when it comes to resources. It's just incredible because the planet is so alive. We are one of the very few planets in our universe that actually has life as we know it. Most of all the planets in our universe are all dead, or they don't have trees, they don't have water showing, they don't have anything, no seawater. So life cannot be formulated if there's no seawater, because seawater is a creation of the most, how would you say, the most amazing chemical structures that formulates consciously life. And those planets don't have it. And we've got to ask yourself, well, why does Earth? Why is Earth nearly the only planet? So that's interesting. We have to understand the whole principle of, say, Earth's evolution, not humanity. We're nothing as a species. Seriously, all we are is an experiment. All we are is, how would you say, something to be used genetically to be played with. And we have been manipulated genetically and modified many, many times throughout the evolution of this planet. Aliens go back over 41 million years ago. It's a proven fact by Unica civilization. And these seven-dimensional beings have recorded, as I said before, the last 41 million years of of Earth's evolution. And I'm learning about it. And it's horrifying to realize the amount of alien species that are all agitated, aggressive. They want to change everything. They created all these different species on this earth. They created originally the dinosaurs, then they destroyed the dinosaurs through a meteor that hit the planet, so many different things. We have been inundated on this planet long before humanity, for millions and millions of years. And what they have done is rape the earth of so many resources and take them back to their own planets. Then they ended up in war, massive wars. And yet, here we are today. And we think by waking up every morning, taking a deep breath, getting up, going to the toilet, having breakfast, cup of tea or a coffee, then say goodbye to your wife, bye children, and we go to work. And we work all day and we talk a load of crap that has no relevance in life whatsoever. It might sound like it does, but if you are beyond just logic, you will see what we communicate about is the most basic expressions of ourselves when we are really a very, very highly intelligent being that has so much potential to grow so far beyond human existence, chemically, energy-wise, intelligence, consciousness, everything. And yet, we have been kept for the last million years that I know of, the way we have through massive wars, massive domination. And that's the way we are today. And now we are really being played with by extraterrestrials in the most negative way, through energy, through manipulation of our own consciousness, our own logical thinking. And eventually, if they win, we won't even know that we are no longer a simple human. We will be artificial intelligence, totally dominated, totally controlled. I mean, the WEF, the World Economic Forum, at the moment, put out this thing, which the People's Voice put up, and what they're saying that they can take that's right, you can go for a 2-hour interview with an AI, which is not the normal AI that you just see like on a computer or on chat or something like that. And by you talking to them and answering their questions, they can create a complete dossier.
Dossier, yep, dossier.
Dossier, yeah, of who you are. Microelectronically in digital form, and put you into a computer, and they can do with you whatever they want. They have your entire makeup and identity. And they can get rid of you and make you as if you are just a digital formulation of their creation. Isn't that a little bit weird and scary?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to, I know that we could go on about that stuff. Do you want to share anything positive that you've been engaged with recently as well, as it relates to this world?
To relate to this? Yes. Okay. You know the thing that I would suggest to humanity, and I would be honoured, so honoured to be able to speak to the entire human race. And I would open up my heart and I would give them a gift of knowledge in how to combat and how to go beyond what they are and repair all the disconnections and be reconnected with their true identity through living energy. So they can literally pass on to their children all the positive aspects of their experiences. So the next generation is well above what the past generation was. And within 2 generations, Michael, what is now would be simply a memory, neither negative or positive. I've learned through these 7-dimensional beings, Unica, Vimera, I can't pronounce these other two names, but they've been very helpful. What they have showed me and expressed to me about energy, and what they're saying is, it is the responsibility of every single individual, be it human or other species, to actually discover their own individuality through living energy that literally will manifest a new reality into their existence through energy. And when you take your two hands and you start to move your hands as if you have a ball of energy, and you adapt your mind with your consciousness, what actually happens, you start to feel between your hands as you turn your hands in a circle. You start to feel as if there is some form of pressure. And that pressure, in reality, is living energy that you are beginning to formulate. And this is what I've been doing. You see it on the movies. You know, people twist their hands around and suddenly this beautiful golden light or orange light or green light appears, and they throw the ball and they destroy whatever evil there is. Well, I don't do it for that reason. I do it because I am connecting my divinity of who I am knowingly to living energy, so I can create and manifest anything I choose to, just like the Nakarons.
So just for an example, Kuntarkis, when we
Sorry?
find, just for as an example, when we find that magnetic ball that's between our hands, what might you suggest that we do with it?
It's not a matter about what you actually do with it. What you do when you start to spin it and start to feel it, send it to someone that needs it and believe beyond all doubt that's what you've done. Not for healing, not for wealth, just simply to send it as a gift. What will happen in your consciousness, your evolution, one day, whether it's this life or your next life, it will actually happen because you have consciously put all your essence into that knowing. And once you develop it and believe it, it must, no matter what, manifest into your existence. 100%. These are the words of Yinika. This is what Yinika was saying to me. And it does become the individual's reality by believing.
So yeah, when
They are, yeah.
Unica
Sorry,
says
mate.
find your individuality, I think that's when your heart opens up for real, doesn't it? Because you realize, oh,
Yes.
I can be this way, I can be me. I feel like me now. Is that what it's
Yes.
like?
Absolutely. And one of the things Vimera said to me several days ago, which is probably about 3 days ago. Yeah, 3 days ago. She actually, no, sorry, I got to say Vimera because they're not male or female. Vimera said, when you learn to believe in who you are and what you are, it then becomes your reality. But every piece of that reality must come from the heart. The heart is the center core of your existence. When you learn to feel with the heart, you learn to feel with your divinity. You cannot feel with your divinity right here, right now, because it won't work with logic. But when you learn to feel the essence of your heart and you really begin to live from your heart, everything in your life begins to change. Yes, we can fall back. Yes, we can still feel the pain of our emotions, but they become lesser and lesser and lesser. And we learn to understand the meaning of forgiveness in unconditional love. That is the secret of the universe, because you see, the earth itself was created in pure love. Every planet was created in pure love. It's the beings that live upon it that create the negative energies that causes destruction, that causes mayhem. because they're not coming from their heart.
Some people are simply going to say, but how? But how do I come from my heart? How do I feel from my heart?
You just said it. You just gave them the answer. You have to feel from your heart. You have to just be by yourself and think about the negative aspects of your life. Really think about it and then say the words through your heart. I trust in my heart. I know my heart is a reality. I will live from my heart. I will create from my heart, not from my emotions. Because every human, Michael, is living from their emotions. The emotions go back nearly 1,000,000 years in every single lifetime. And those 4 quadrillion cells you have are inundated with those memories. And every so often, because we're being negative, we literally spark off that old emotion and it comes to the surface and we suddenly feel negative, suddenly feel depressed. That's the point of change. In that point, we have to reverse it like psychology and say, no, I am not negative. I am not depressed. I feel love. And I accept my negativity, but I also let it go and see it as a simple memory of the past.
And when we're expressing from our heart, I guess that means to much lesser degrees, we're not expressing from our solar plexus or our head or our whatever else. It's the central chakra that is the most active,
Yes,
right? That's the one we come
yes,
from versus overthinking or our throat being really choked up as we try to say what we're saying. It's really the central heart that we're
yes,
vibrating with when we
yes.
express and okay.
This is the other secret, mate, of knowing. When we express normally the way we are now, we express in a negative fashion because of our emotions through our chakra centers. From our heart to our throat, from our heart down to our base chakra, we release the negativity, which flows all the way up, causing us issues, causing our body to overheat, causing us to be angry because we're not aware of it. But when we balance those chakra centers, and I believe through the Kundalini, if they're instructed the right way to do it, it takes a long time, but it's worth it. But when we have our chakras balanced, all of them, especially the heart, when we speak from the heart. When we move, we speak from the heart or we move from the heart. It's like what I do every single day of my life. And this is no joke. My wife will tell you that. Misha, she'll say, yes, he does. And I'm starting to do that exactly myself. When I move, if I pick up a pillow in one hand and I move it towards the other hand, I'm aware that it's traveling by itself into my other hand. And I grab it and I place it over on the other lounge. I'm aware of its presence going into my left hand and I place it down on the other lounge. When I step over a footstool or between two footstools, I am aware exactly how my leg moves up, over, and down between. Most people are not. They end up hitting the stool and nearly falling over. Because I carry a coffee or a tea, I've taught myself to be very aware how I move my body. That's called self-awareness of your surroundings. But you do it through your heart. If you do things through anger, that's not your heart. That's just your ego. That's the difference.
Or
So
the
the
or the
balance,
overthinking mind.
yes, the
Yeah.
overthinking
You're
brain.
you're the brain, sorry. You're so present with where you are that your heart is easily able to do what you're doing in that moment, also because the brain isn't ticking on about things that are just useless.
Yes, I've got to explain another thing too, as I mentioned this before, but I noticed that how well it's become. When I go into the garage and I do some training sometimes in the garage because it's a bigger area, when I do, say, movements, I flow so slowly in my chai, some call it. When I move, and if I'm, say, using, say, a sword, for instance, it's an extension of my arm. I move like, you know how you see a cat moving really elegantly? I do exactly the same thing, because what I'm teaching myself and my body is no matter what position I am in, it is not painful. I've taught my body that. I'm physically in this human body, 73, and yet how I move down low and come up, I've taught and trained my muscles in my legs, my arms, my back, my stomach. I've taught them to flow with each other through chi. And that's very important. I used to run a seminar called Breath in Life, and that's what I was teaching, to become one with self. And it was a very, very popular seminar, that one.
I thank you for what you've expressed, and it does make me think like the times when I remember, oh yes, I used to love talking about being in the zone, and that was a
Yes.
major part. Like I never used to think of the heart, but the heart is the most magnetically aware part of us, and it's when you're in the zone, you're so aware of everything that you can flow with everything. I just love like seeing it from that angle, but also from the angle of as you've expressed it too, the value of the heart versus this overthinking brain, and oh my.
Yep. The brain has the capacity to hold a lot of data. It also has the capacity to bring forth that data. But the unfortunate part about the ego, which is the logical side of the human brain, it dissects too much and only give you what it thinks you need, not what you might need. That's the sad part. The mind, on the other hand, gives you free will in choice. You can go this way, that way, that way, that way. But what you use is your heart to make those decisions. When you learn to open up your heart in pure love, what you learn is mastery of yourself, that your heart will emanate throughout every single organ, every single drop of blood in your entire being, internally, externally. And that's what teachers on this planet have never, ever taught, because they've never discovered the true element of the heart.
Well, thank you, Kuntarkis. If we could put more and more recordings up about this, it would be just the best thing, I think, because I'm keen and many people would be keen to understand this more and more.
I can also talk about how to transfer the energy of the heart throughout all your genetics, throughout your muscles, throughout your bone structure, throughout all the organs. It's a very simple process, but we can talk about that at another time then. If you want to mention it another time, we can talk about how to make that energy flow, which, by the way, you will never get sick. And you'll never have disease. That's the big difference. Very big difference.
What a dream come true to be talking to you again, Kuntarkis, in the car, as you say, some absolutely magical things. I can't wait to keep moving forward with this amazing podcast, with this amazing, amazing Kuntarkis.
Well, I appreciate your lovely words, much appreciated. But I actually really believe that every single human on this planet, not including the CBCs, I think they are all very special. And I would love to be able to instruct them how to touch their divinity through their heart. It would change their thinking. It would change the way they see life. It would change everything about them, everything. And they would discover the true essence of what individuality is all about. But just always remember, everything at the beginning comes from your thinking. In other words, what you think you become. You remember that one that I wrote in the book called Book of Knowledge I'm Alien?
Yes, I remember you saying it's all in your thinking. Yeah,
It's all
a start.
thinking, right? Always. Change your thinking, you change your life, and that's very true. I learn I learn the lessons every day of my existence, mate. No matter who I am, doesn't matter. Oh, by the way, my father told me, Yakus Kardas, he said to me, when the moment comes that you depart from your physical body and you leave all the stuff that you no longer need with it, the way he said it, he said, when you come back to Nakaris after your visit to Shakani, he said, you will have one of the greatest welcomings that you have ever had. And I just wanted to cry.
Yeah.
The way he said it, yeah. I just wanted to cry, mate, because that was just so beautiful, the way he put it. His words were so elegant. That's very true, elegant.
Oh, wow. A being like that can be to the point and elegant with his words every time, I guess.
Yes.
I mean...
Oh, he can be pretty harsh.
Harsh?
He can be pretty... He showed when he got rid of all these beings on this planet that were murdering all these other local occupants on that planet. What he said, wow, he said, I won't even try to repeat it because I'd be embarrassing myself as much as him. But he said it so well when I was there. And when he come walking out, he just looked at that smile on his face. And I think it was Kanag said, "And what?" That's what he said to him, "And what?" And he was rubbing his hands like this, you know. He said, "It is done. Everything will change for the better." So in other words, he just removed all of them in one go. No qualms about getting rid of every single one of that type of species because all they were bloodsuckers. They were just killing and drinking the blood of all their victims.
On a personal note, a personal question for you. My hands, I've been looking after them, and I like the idea of them being quite healing hands, you know. I can feel the magnetic pull. I can have them be, you know, full of good energy, and they can be quite magical on the guitar or whatever else, table tennis or even hands-on healing. I just wanted to mention that in case you had something to say about that.
Well, yes, okay. That's really good that you said that because I can add this to it. What we were talking about before is the heart.
Yeah.
Before you begin anything, whether you're sending healing, whether you're healing yourself, whether you're going to play the guitar, even before you go on the treadmill,
Yeah.
which you need to do.
Oh, I did today, and I played guitar while I was on it. I was on it for 20 minutes playing guitar. Yes!
Oh, wow. That's good. But the thing is, put your hands over your heart. Either sit, lay, or stand. And just see the heart beginning to emanate through your consciousness, through your hands, coming out of your chest into your hands. When you feel that, then release your hands off your heart and put them directly out in front of you and see the energy emitting from your hands in large amounts, filling all the rooms with pure balance. So the whole room, the whole area is balanced.
And my hands did it. I love that.
And when you pick up your guitar, say, I play my guitar with my heart because my hands are my heart. They are simply an extension of my love.
This concludes another episode of Kuntarkis. Thanks so much for listening. We are still on etcconsciousness.com, where you can find out more about Kuntarkis' books, and we'll be back with several more episodes. In the meantime, if you'd like to contact us, just email kuntarkis@gmail.com. That's KUNTARKIS@gmail.com. Thanks so much for listening. My name is Michael Yon, and stay tuned for more.